then Kawunya, then our sister.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, because at some stage I'll have to seek your indulgence because I have to leave for the House Business Committee, which will be starting in the next few minutes. But Chair, having listened to the Minister, I have to acknowledge that the work being done by the multi-agency team in Laikipia and Laikipia North is quite impressive. But again, Chair, there is one impending a roadblock, and it is the security roads. And I want to plead with the Minister, because even as you do that operation, actually we've had, at least we've slept for the last few minutes, for the last few months. But again, I still have a strong feeling that Mgogodo Forest is still heavily inhabited by bad people because of the terrain, which does not allow the multi-agency team to get deep into the forest. And even the cows, I can see my friends from Meru, and there's still a lot of stolen livestock both from Laikipia and Meru, which is being held by those criminals in Mgogodo Forest. So my humble appeal to the Minister, we have talked about security roads, and this is the right time when those multi-agency people are on the ground to do the security roads. So please, Bwana Murkomen, let's fast track that, because the moment the teams leave Mgogodo Forest, will be sitting on a time bomb, because these guys will come heavily on us to revenge for the small things that you have done to them, and the community will be the greatest sufferers.
Yeah, Chair, having listened to the Minister, it is very clear that they have all the solutions. What is lacking is only implementation. And while we talk about enhancing the budget so that we can sort out the mess, but there are issues that may not require budget. For instance, you know those ones who are funding the goons, the politicians, the activists, because there is no doubt, yes, we are going to an election year, and these are the major culprits. Without flagging out their names is perpetuating the problem, because somebody would say, yes, I'm doing all this, and nobody knows that I'm doing it. So, Waziri, unless you become bold enough, and the IG and the DCI, so that these people are publicly shamed in public, that they are known, they are the ones who are doing all these things, will not go anywhere, because that one doesn't require budget, but you to come out very boldly. Secondly, there is a problem, as you have acknowledged, the issue of the criminal justice system. We have a major problem. You find that if the DCI, for instance, does a crackdown on the ground, some criminals would run to some offices in Nairobi. I have very practical cases which I have previously shared with the IG. They will run to Nairobi, and Nairobi will give contradictory directives sabotaging what has happened on the ground. Meaning, some officers in Nairobi could be complicit with criminals on the ground, because they are exposed on the ground, they come to Nairobi for cover, and then it is frustrated. Justice is frustrated. It cannot be realized on the ground. So unless we have the DCI, we have the ODPP, and we have the courts working together, we'll be doing serious blame games. And these officers, apart from politicians, because you have mentioned politicians, which I agree, yes, they are culpable, but the officers which are also culpable are the officers of the security people in Nairobi and the officers of the ODPP, because they are perpetuating crime and they are laying the foundation for what could end up messing the security situation on the ground. So Waziri, you need to refocus on that, because otherwise blame game will not assist us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you have made your point, and I'm sure it's more generally of an assessment and your analysis. I didn't see much of a question, maybe. But nevertheless, we have Mumina, Onaya, then lastly Kapondi, then we allow the minute. Okay.
Kapondi again.
Then you respond. And let's try. We have got 15 minutes in between before we go to the statements.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to thank the CS.
Ask because considering our number, and we still have the other issue of responding to the statements, statements rather, let's be precise to the point. If it is a comment, fine. Actually, I would rather ask just question, not comments, not, so that we can accommodate the rest of us.
So I have a question, Chair, but I want to thank the CS for the presence we've had in our county in terms of his visits to address issues that are coming up there when it comes to banditry and cattle rustling. And without looking like I want to conflict his report in terms of making progress, there's an issue, CS, I want to understand. While we have operation going on actively, we still get attacks, and banditry and cattle rustling are still happening. What do you make of that? Does it mean the cattle rustlers are not scared of the machinery and the government, especially where you've already declared operation in an area? Thank you.
That is Isiolo. Yeah, and Waziri, looking into your analysis, the issue of Isiolo, the issue of the criminal gangs is not really clearly stated, and I'm sure it's a big, big problem, the drug, the criminal gangs. The Speaker, I was told, just to be on record, recently the Speaker of Senate went to Isiolo for fundraise with a few members. I'm sure you have the information. They were almost, they almost failed to access the airport for almost 1 hour. And the police were ready to fight with the gangs. So that is how the situation is bad. So
thank you, Chair. Chair, my question is on the issue of criminal gangs and the goons, particularly the political goons. Waziri, you've explained very well the problem where it is. I'm asking, why are you not able to deal with it? Is it financial? This committee could step in. Is it political? These are the political leaders. I'm saying that because I will give you an example, Waziri. In your last address to Parliament, you recall a member making wild allegations about a boundary of Changara. That Changara division belongs to his constituency. The member for Sirisha raised that issue, and the Speaker did direct and asked you to be able to clarify. Indeed, the member, instead of waiting to get your clarification, goes ahead to start hovering around another constituency, Teso North. And you are aware, Waziri, I did come to your office. I wanted to follow the law. Now, delay to act on this brings a gap. And the gap is, Waziri, where these formal institutions fail to act, definitely informal institutions come in, and particularly on Goonism. where maybe a political leader feels insecure in an area. And I'm sure our chair, who is the incoming governor of Narok,
Your question upon the...
is aware.
Yeah.
When he's threatened, he will want to come with what we call, you rightly called, these are people who will protect. But really, this Goonism has to stop, and we urge you to stop. But we want to ask you, if it is financial, this committee can provide you funds. And if it is non-financial, and I agree with Honorable Kapondi, that there are some things you only need to make a decision and act. Even within our service, National Police Service are trying their best. But I think you have the power.
Okay, you have made your point. I think it's still not much of a question. I don't know. Umi, please, I will urge you, because you all know, everybody wants to speak here. We have not even gone to verse 2. Go to the point, to the question. If it is a comment, we can